Welcome back to Voice of Africa, where we uncover the heart and soul of the continent's stories that matter. Today, we take you on a journey to Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, where the legacy of one of Africa's most iconic revolutionary leaders, Captain Thomas Sankara, is finally enshrined in a powerful and symbolic memorial. The newly built Thomas Sankara Mausoleum is not just a resting place. It is a profound piece of architectural storytelling that immortalizes the vision, courage, and tragic sacrifice of Sankara and his 12 companions. Located on the grounds of the Conseil de l'Entente, the very site where Thomas Sankara and his comrades were assassinated on October 15, 1987, the mausoleum stands as a defiant symbol against injustice and a reminder of the ideals that inspired a generation. The architecture itself tells a story that words alone could never fully express. It is designed with intention, symbolism, and a deep respect for African traditions, while also serving as a bridge between the past and the aspirations of the present and future. The design of the mausoleum draws from solar symbolism, a poetic representation of the cycle of life. According to this concept, human life begins in the east with the sunrise and ends in the west with the sunset. But Sankara and his companions, whose lives were stolen in their prime, never reached the western horizon. Their journey was cut short before they could fulfill the promise of their mission. To honor this, the mausoleum is oriented southward, diverging from the east to west path of a complete life. The bodies are laid out from north to south, symbolizing a life interrupted, a journey left unfinished. At the heart of the memorial lies the tomb of Thomas Sankara, surrounded by the tombs of his 12 companions. Their arrangement was determined by a random draw, reflecting equality among the fallen, a value Sankara himself fiercely defended. 6 of his comrades rest to his left and 6 to his right, creating a circle of brotherhood that embraces their shared fate and unyielding commitment to their nation and to the African continent. Inside the mausoleum, visitors are greeted by a ceiling pierced by 13 carefully placed louvered openings. As sunlight filters through these gaps, it casts shifting patterns of light and shadow across the interior space, creating a spiritual and contemplative atmosphere. These 13 openings are not arbitrary. They represent the emptiness left behind by the 13 lives lost on that fateful day. But even more, they allow light to enter, a symbol that the legacy of these men continues to shine, illuminating new generations. This extraordinary monument was entirely funded by the state of Burkina Faso, a clear statement that the country is committed to honoring its true heroes. The project was led by none other than world-renowned Burkinabe architect Francis Kéré, who became the first African to win the prestigious Pritzker Architecture Prize. Known for his socially conscious and environmentally integrated designs, Kéré brought a unique blend of local insight, global expertise, and deep cultural respect to the creation of the mausoleum. Under Kéré's direction, the architecture became a medium for storytelling and healing. His design choices reflect Sankara's own values: simplicity, authenticity, and people-centered development. The use of local materials, the integration of natural light, and the emphasis on communal space all resonate with the revolutionary's vision of a self-reliant and dignified Africa. This is not a grandiose monument made to impress foreign dignitaries. It is a space where everyday people can come to reflect, to remember, and to reconnect with a legacy that continues to shape their lives. Thomas Sankara's influence in Burkina Faso and across Africa cannot be overstated. Often referred to as Africa's Che Guevara, he came to power in 1983 at the age of just 33, and in the span of 4 years, he transformed the political and social fabric of his country. Renaming the former Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, meaning land of upright people, Sankara initiated sweeping reforms that prioritized education, women's rights, environmental protection, and anti-imperialism. He launched massive vaccination campaigns, redistributed land to peasants, refused foreign aid with strings attached, and lived modestly, rejecting the trappings of power. But it was precisely these bold moves that made him a target. His assassination, orchestrated as part of a coup led by his former ally Blaise Compaoré, silenced a voice that had dared to speak truths too uncomfortable for both local elites and international interests. For over 3 decades, justice for Sankara remained elusive. His name was spoken with reverence in hushed tones, his memory preserved by the people but neglected by the state. All of that began to change with the 2014 Burkina Faso uprising that ousted Compaoré after 27 years in power. The people of What makes this monument particularly powerful is that it is not simply a site of mourning, it is a place of education and mobilization. Alongside the mausoleum is a museum dedicated to Sankara's life and work, with exhibits that explore his ideas, his achievements, and the context in which he led. It is a space where young people can come to learn not just about the man, but about the vision of a different kind of Africa. An Africa that stands tall, that dares to dream, that refuses to be shackled by colonial legacies or neo-colonial dependency. The decision to build the mausoleum using public funds also sends a strong message. This is not a gift from an NGO or a foreign donor. It is a monument built by Burkina Faso, for Burkina Faso, in honor of Burkina Faso. In a world where so many African monuments are either colonial relics or externally imposed structures, the Sankara Mausoleum stands apart as a declaration of self-determination. It is an architectural embodiment of Sankara's most powerful idea, that Africans must believe in themselves and shape their own destiny. This project also speaks to a wider continental movement. Across Africa, there is a growing demand for historical justice, for monuments that reflect African narratives rather than European conquests. From Dakar to Addis Ababa, from Kigali to Johannesburg, cities are rethinking their public spaces to honor African heroes and to tell African stories. The Sankara Mausoleum joins this chorus with pride and defiance, reminding the world that Africa remembers its children. For the people of Burkina Faso, the mausoleum is a sacred site, but its meaning extends far beyond national borders. It resonates with anyone who believes in justice, dignity, and the power of revolutionary ideas. Thomas Sankara may have died at 37, but his vision remains as vital today as it was in the 1980s. In a time when many African nations are struggling with the same challenges Sankara sought to resolve, corruption, dependency, inequality, the memory of his leadership is not just relevant, it is urgently needed. As we reflect on the power of this monument, let us also remember that memory alone is not enough. The true tribute to Sankara is to live out his values, to fight for justice, to speak truth to power, to put people before profits, and to build nations that reflect the dreams of their people, not the dictates of foreign interests. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history, memory, and architecture. If you're moved by this story, consider visiting the Thomas Sankara Mausoleum or supporting educational initiatives that keep his legacy alive. And to our cherished subscribers and community members, thank you for standing with Voice of Africa. Your support makes it possible for us to bring you the stories that matter, the stories that inspire, challenge, and connect us across borders. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the heart of Africa. Until next time, stay grounded, stay inspired, and stay proud.